Hey, family, you know what time it is. We're on the porch a few minutes late, but that's all good. Y'all meet us on the porch. Meet us on the porch. Y'all get them on in. You know, we got one rule and one rule only when we get on the porch. We speak when we show up. We speak when we show up. If y'all on here with me, let me know you're on the porch. Let's share it. Let everybody know we're on the porch. We're ready. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but it's all good. Lord is kind and He's giving us wisdom on how to pivot. So, hey, listen, let's get on the porch. On the porch, let me know you're on here with me. Let me know you're on here with me. If you're on the porch, say something to me. Again, we have one rule on the porch. Hey, Jazz, we're so honored to have you on the porch. We're honored to have you on the porch, and hopefully this won't be your last time. But brother, you know I'm mad at you because you know when I've been looking for my package, and I hadn't got it yet. And you know what I'm looking for. Come on in. Let's tag, share. Again, those that may not be able to, you may not be able to get on Facebook Live. Here's my YouTube channel. You can join us on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube page as well. I'm glad to see everybody. Had to do a little bit of pivoting. Oh, to God be the glory, Jazz. Thank you for being a part. You know, I had every intentions to sit down and put my and just teach a little bit, but y'all and the Lord had another plan, and so that's neither here nor there. Y'all get them on the porch. We're gonna give them a few more minutes. Dr. Zach is on the porch. My guy. Y'all come on in. I just want to tell y'all for the record that Jazz and Zach, they had me hollering last night in Bible study, y'all. And I was just trying to teach at life study. And next thing I know, I'm shaking the mic and all that. I went back and watched myself. I said, what in the doggone happened around here? What they got me doing around these parts? Next time I'm going to bring me a chair up there. I'm just going to sit in a chair and then put a table on my lap. That's what I'm going to do. Y'all come on to the porch. Come on in, share. Let everybody know that we are on the porch. Oh, bless y'all, man. Bless y'all. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all something crazy, and we're gonna get started on the porch. Y'all get them on in here. So I just got done watching this morning. I watched prophetess Valerie Moore. She preached at Pilgrim's Assembly at their Holy Convocation. She's the Lord's prophet, definitely. But she says in there that, she says that the Lord had showed her that somebody else from the world would pass away, and then somebody big from the church would pass away. Well, I just get a text on my phone, and they said Hulk Hogan has transitioned. Isn't that crazy? Oh, my girl Jess is on here. She's big time now. That Jess big time now. She out there at Bahamas, big time. I'm gonna be like them when I grow up. Good to y'all come on in. It's insane, but again, let me pray and we'll get into it. Gracious Father, I thank you. I thank you for another opportunity, God, to just be able to tell you thank you, God. I thank you for being a good Father. I thank you for who you are. I ask that you would cover us, God. Say what you want to say. Hide me behind your cross, God. Let the people be blessed by thee and not impressed by me, God. Thank you for the opportunity to share. God, just use me mightily. We love you. We thank you for each and every person that's on the porch. In Jesus' name, amen. So yeah, she bought the Wi-Fi package just for the porch. You're so kind. But I think that we're in a time now, Jazz, that we have to make sure that we're hearing from the prophets and we're receiving whatever they have to say. I think that so many times that God sends us messages, and we're going to get into what we're going to talk about. But I think if we can be honest, there's a lot of times where the Lord has sent us messages that we just kind of avoided or shunned off, like it is what it is. And we got to be careful in this season that when God, especially when it's from a trusted voice, that's what we're talking about today, a trusted voice. When it's from a trusted voice, that we have to be mindful of what they're saying. Again, emphasis on trusted voice. I was sharing with one of my daughters earlier today that that's why we got to be careful about having too many voices speaking to us. It's okay to be on TikTok or listen to podcasts, but you ought to have just like 2 or 3 people that you trust their voice, and they always should coincide with each other. You know what I mean? You ought to have three, maybe 2 to 3 people at the most, but some of us got 7 to 10 people that we're listening to. And so we don't know who to listen to. And the trouble with that is that listening to the wrong voice will have you fighting the wrong battle. I'm already talking on the porch. I might as well get them on here. Listening to the wrong voice will have you fighting the wrong battle. So what happens is that you're in a fight and you think it's warfare, but it's not warfare. It's that you're out of bounds. Can I talk? You're out of bounds. Why? Because you've allowed somebody, and here's what happens so many times, is that we allow people to make us what they want to be. We allow people to make us, who they think we should be. And see, the problem with that is that you only have oil or grace to be who God called you to be. So if you're something that you shouldn't be, you'll be fighting something you shouldn't have to fight. And so it could be that the reason why the attacks become so strong on your life is not that the devil is that strong, is that you're fighting him with no cover. Man, I feel like talking today, y'all. And so, again, and this is, we're talking about being unequally yoked, part 2, but that's what's happened to a lot of us. That the reality of the fact is that we've agreed to voices that wasn't valid. There it is. We've agreed to voices that wasn't valid. And so now we're fighting devils that we shouldn't have to fight. And that's why you've got to make sure that whoever your trusted voice is, that they've been, let me tell you something. When you allow somebody to speak in your life like that, you ought to be able to trace them. If you can't trace them, you can't trust them. I might need to say that. I might need to say that one more time, Kayla. If you can't trace them, you can't trust them. And too many times we're trusting things we can't trace. You don't know where they come from. All they're saying is that they're from God. All they're saying is that they're sent to help you, but you can't trace them. You don't know who they sit under. You don't know who they were submitted to. And then when you do find out who they were submitted to, the person they submitted to ain't submitted to somebody. They're all wild. When you start tracing them, they're all vagabonds, as the Bible will say. They're all just out there wandering around. It's a whole cycle. You got to be careful about people like that. You're trying to trust somebody you can't trace. Where are their DNA? Where did they come from? Because to show up and say, well, you know what? I'm a millionaire. That doesn't mean that you're trustworthy. You could have came into that money. You could have inherited that money. That doesn't mean anything to me. And that's why for some of us, we gotta quit just going all in these Ponzi schemes. We're trying to get quick rich schemes. Walk away from that stuff. And ask God, what is your purpose and what is your divine destiny? Because that's what your money is. Because some of this crap that we got into, that's why we're broken. That's why we're broke. That's why we're beat down. Because we've tried to invest in something that we should have never invested in. And our money didn't come back. And our money wasn't seed. It was just money given. Yeah, our money wasn't seed, it was just money given. That's the problem. You know, when the Bible articulates about being unequally yoked, this is what it's talking about. Can you trace them? Can you go back and figure out where they are? Can you go back and verify that who they are is who they say, who they say they are is who they really are? And because here's the thing about, for some of us, we're too gullible when it comes to that. You know, I was with some, we'll sit there and again, let me tell you something, ain't nothing wrong with nothing, right? But I do have an issue with that. You will go and cohabitate, live with, shack up with somebody who's got a record of breaking homes. Like they've never been faithful. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand that you're too valuable to be too careless with yourself. There it is. That's what it is. Thank you, Holy Ghost. You're too valuable to be too careless with yourself. And you got to get to a place now where you start handling yourself better. You got to get to a place now where you start handling yourself like you value, that you might not be there yet, but you know what's coming. You know, that some of us, that's become our biggest issue is if there was a failure we had, it would be that. It would be because we tend to want to handle ourselves like nothing, but get mad at everybody else for dropping us. Well, they're only repeating what they seen, and they seen you handle yourself like dirt. So why would they try to handle yourself? If they seen you handle yourself like dirt, why would they try to handle you like gold? Hello, church. Hello. Hello. And then too, here's the thing about it is, we've seen it in, Tyler Perry movies, whatever, it says when somebody show you who they are, believe them, right? Here is where I'm going with that. When people turn on you, keep moving. Stop trying to force people to like you or force people in your circle. If they don't want to be there, let them go. Absolutely. We set the standards for ourselves. Absolutely. That's the thing. We got to get better on how we handle ourselves. That's why we can't be doing all this crazy stuff that we do on social media. We're deeming it to be fun, but we don't realize that we're teaching people on how to treat us. Yeah, we think it's cute, but we're teaching people on how to treat us. Let me help some of you in relationships. Is that when you go into a relationship, stop going in with an open door. You don't give all of you up at the beginning of a relationship. They got to earn that. We walk in relationships, and next thing we know, we're telling them we're bringing out all the good stuffs in the vault. The devil is a liar. Stop that. They have to earn that right. They have to earn a right to be in that space with you. And let me tell you something. I just said this to somebody else. I'm going to say it again today. Being present doesn't mean that you're loyal. And see, for many of us, that's the one sickness that's caused us to be linked to the wrong people. It's because we continue to say, well, they were there. But what did they do? But they were there. But how beneficial were they? But they were there. But how did they help you fix the problem? That's the issue right there. Just because they're there doesn't necessarily mean that they're loyal. Loyalty comes when you're beneficial to me. How are they benefiting you? Oh, but they were there. Yeah, but they were just sitting on the couch. They were there, but they were telling you to go do the same thing that was happening to you. That's not beneficial to you to match the same energy. How is that helping anything? How? And again, we're talking about unequally yoked. How are they beneficial to you? Because if you can't tell yourself how they're beneficial to you, then that's a problem. If you can't tell yourself how they've helped you in certain situations, that's a problem. Especially, again, we talked about this last week. We're talking about this fine circle around us, not, not a big circumference, but we're talking about a small circle that's right around you. Those circles are fit what we call our besties and our boos and our homeboys. And you know what I'm saying? These slots. How are they beneficial to you? See, part of the reason why some of us have gotten scars, I've been there before, is that we got people that's got board member positions with no benefits. See, when you sit on a board, when people invite you on a board, it's because you're beneficial. You might have influence, you got connections, but there's something you bring into the table for them to put you on the board. But in our personal life, we have a board. It's called, again, besties, your husband, your wife, people like that. When you put them on your board, you have to know how beneficial they are to you. We've got to quit. We've got to shut this open door policy, right? Especially to these places. And we've got to start investigating who we allow in our space. Because for some of us, we're bringing in problems. We're bringing in trouble. And I wasn't going to say it, but since I'm here, I might as well say it. Jazz is on here for the first time, so I might as well say it. Let me help you with this one for free. At the end of the day, stop bringing problems into your life. You're not everybody's answer. Let me drink some tea on that one. You're not everybody's answer. You are not everybody's 911 call. Stop bringing that in your life. Sometimes you just got to pray for them and keep moving. But you keep trying to save everybody and you wonder why you're drowning. You're trying to help everybody and you wonder why you're not healed. It's because you are trying to answer everybody. That is not your job. Don't get me wrong. There's a group for you. There's a people that's got your, that you are tailored to. I get it, but that's not everybody. It's not everybody. And the reason why you're bleeding is because you're getting I know this may not be a word, but it's going to be a word today. You're getting on purpose cuts. That's why you're bleeding. These cuts were never meant for you, but because you're dragging everybody else in, you're getting cut. Because the truth of the matter is, if I asked you right now, some of the people that that I'm talking about right now hadn't done a doggone thing for you. And when you were down at your worst point, if you called them, they probably wouldn't answer. And if they did answer, they didn't know what to tell you. Okay, then. You see where I'm going with that? See, these are the people that we have to deem to be unequally yoked to, that are just a bunch of leeches, that are just a bunch of, they're just not for us. I'm not going to say that they're bad people. They're just not good for us. And that's what we have to learn how to start doing. See, I think in Christianity has gotten us to a place that we don't know how to disagree people, in a good way, with a good heart. I know how to say no to you in love, because there's some people, y'all, that we're connected to, you already know they ain't for you. But you done told yourself, how do I say that without hurting their feelings? How do I say that? You just tell them. You can show them that at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that you can't talk to them, but they can't have access to you like that all the time. Why? Because some of you right now are in a season where you ain't got nothing to give. You need to be getting. You need to be getting affirmation. You need to be getting encouraging words. You need to be getting. So you can afford to be given stuff that you need. You know, and the thing about it is, watch this, Michelle. Here's the reality of it is, we got to quit turning a blind eye to the writing on the wall. We got to quit turning a blind eye to the writing on the wall. I mean, we see it, but we don't want to believe what we see. It's right there in our face. It's right there in our face. But we got to quit turning up. It's right there. Anybody that know that it's your last, and if they'll take your last from you and do frivolous things on it, they're not for you. They know it's your last. They know you ain't got a lot. They know you in one of those seasons right now that everything you have matters. And if they'll come to you to ask you money to do frivolous things with, they're telling you everything about them right there. Just believe it. You know, some of us don't feel like, oh, they wouldn't do me like that. It's not that they wouldn't, they have. That's why they keep doing it. See, that's what we don't pay attention to. We think we keep trying to figure out, well, no. They're only doing what they've always did. You just been too naive to see it. That's the problem. They're only doing what they're so naive to do. They're only doing what they always did, but you're too naive to see it. You know, I remember watching a movie one time, and it was about these group of people. They were robbing banks, whatever. But it was a thought that one of the guys said that has been stuck with me. And he said, because somebody asked him, how did you get in the business of robbing banks? Like, how did you ever get your strength up or whatever to rob banks? And he said, well, after you do it the first time, it becomes easier. I think I'm helping somebody now. Yeah, he said, after you do it the first time, it becomes easier. He said, and then you gain momentum, and then you already know your boundaries and things of that nature. And I say that to say this, that's the issue. The first time they handled us wrong, we didn't say nothing. It became easy for them. So they kept doing it over and over and over now. That's how that works. See, we got to learn how to protect us. Because here is the thing. I don't have to, this is what we do, but it ain't right. We got to stop dropping us trying to save them. I'm going to drink tea on that. We got to stop dropping us trying to save them. Even when you're on an airplane, they tell you the first thing you do is put the oxygen mask on you. But we keep trying to save them first by dropping us. No. Why? Because when you get back to your strength, I'm going to be left in pieces. Because when you get back good, I'm going to be a whole mess over here. And ain't nothing you can do for me. You see where I'm going with that? And so now and the thing about it is, this is how come, here's the truth of the matter is, part of the reason is it's our fault, right? We got to own some of this because we allowed them to do it. We allowed them to do it. That's what we got to own it, because we allowed them to do it. That's why at the end of the day, at the beginning of the relationship, you got to start setting boundaries at the beginning. This is what I'm going to accept, and this is what I'm not going to accept. If you don't like it, I understand. There's somebody else that will, but I'm not going to do it. Because this is the standard over here. And once you build standards, you automatically get boundaries. That's how that works. Once you build standards, you automatically get boundaries. And so now you're protecting yourself. But the problem is some of us are we're too exposed. And people just come in our lives, they do what they want to do, and then they tuck tail and run. And you know what we do? We duct tape ourselves back together. And the reason why we duct tape ourselves back together, because by the time they run out, another them show up. And when they run out, another them show up. Why? Because we won't set the boundaries. That's the issue right there. And so because we won't set boundaries, we keep connecting with people we're unequally yoked to. They're not even going the same direction as you. You know it. You know it. They don't care nothing about living like you trying to live. You already know it. You talking about trying to live right. You talking about trying to save. They're talking about what they're going to wear to the club next week. We on a different path, baby. You see where I'm going with that? You talking about, how you getting your children's tutors, how you want to get them trained, how you want to make sure, that they're top tier in school, and they're talking about another outfit they want to wear. You're on two different streets. That's what I'm saying. That's unequally yoked. You see what I'm saying? Like we got to start examining everybody before we say yes to them. We just got our access is too easy. We've got to do a better job of protecting who we are. That's why our identity is so damaged, because our access was too easy. And see, here's what happens when you have easy access to your identity. You get trauma. I got a mental health professional on here. You get trauma, and you know what trauma does? Trauma will create an identity that you were never supposed to live. It will create an identity that you were never supposed to live. And what that looks like, it looks like this, and I'm not being funny, it just is what it is. What it looks like is why we got people who call themselves pastors that should have been a good deacon. Hello, church. That's what happens. That's what happens. Because they're seeking to be relevant, and they feel like the only way they can be relevant is to be on this platform. Why? Because they left themselves open, the wrong person came in, they got trauma, and this is the result of that. And here's the reality of it is, and this is many of our problems on here. And again, it is what it is, but here's many of our problems on here. We don't heal, we hide. It's a difference. You never heal from it, you just hid from it. And that's why, watch this, Jess. That's how come we got so many triggers, because we got so many open wounds that we never healed from, we just hid from it. And what happens is when somebody gets on that street, it's a trigger. They don't even know that you unhealed, but they get on the street, it's a trigger to you. So in other words, now they have to pay a bill that they didn't even get the service for. Man, I'm talking. That's what happens. And so that's how come now what has happened now you become a womanizer. Now you become a manizer, and it's about the game. That's what happens. It's about the game now. Why? Because you've been hurt. Instead of healing, you hid, you got triggers, you're trying to protect yourself, and so you just turn it off. That's what happens. And so now you're searching for a platform, you got a platform, and guess what now? You go get people who are like you, and now you got a church full of unhealed folk that are broken and triggered, and all of y'all are the same. Y'all just going through the cycles. Why? Because broke people will always attract broke people. You ain't got to worry about it. It always happened. And when you get up, and that's all you're going to hear about how people did you wrong, about how people left you for dead, about how people thought you weren't going. That's all you're going to hear. Why? Because they're broken and they're not healed. You know, you don't believe me? Let me tell you something. You can create a dummy page right now on Facebook, on IG, and TikTok. And all you got to say is, I'm sick of church. And you watch how many followers you're going to get. It's going to be easy. Just go on there and do it. Just all you got to do. Just say, I'm sick of church. Watch what happens. Why? Because we've got a whole community of broken people that they have decided to hide instead of heal. And see, the thing about being broken like that, you always going to be offended. You're going to be offended. Everything is going to offend you. That's what happens. It never fails. You're always going to be offended. You know? That's why you got to protect you. You got to take ownership of you. There's nothing in this world worth you gambling you over. I'm not willing to kill me for nothing in this world. No. And some of us are stuck. I mean, let me tell you something. Here was the sad part about it, Jess, is that some of us will be better being in prison than the prison we've put ourselves in. We would be better off being in prison than the prison we put ourselves in. Why? Because now, and here is the thing, and I'm going to help somebody with this too. It's okay. You just have to admit it, and you got to make some changes. The problem is, here's the problem I have with repentance, and I have with people who apologize. The problem I have is that it's for so many people, it's only words. See, repentance requires a change. Apology requires a change. If you just give me words, it's just words. It's not valid. It's like trying to purchase an item and you don't have a credit card on file. It's not valid. You can put as much stuff as you want to in your cart. It don't mean a hill of beans. And we've got to quit allowing people to give us words and no actions. That's it. Absolutely. An apology without changed behavior is manipulation. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. And we've allowed too many people to say, I'm sorry, and stay the same. Oh, I'm going to apologize, stay the same. It was never my intent to hurt you, stay the same. You know I love you, stay the same. No, you don't get to treat me like that. I need to see your actions. Yes, I do. I need to see why, because I've allowed you to drop me long enough. I've allowed you to hurt me long enough. That's why. I've been broken long enough. All you've done since I've been connected to you is show me how to stay broken. Oh my God, man. That's all you've done. It showed me how to be broken. You showed me how to stay depressed. You showed me how to stay stressed out. That's all you've done. And don't let people get away. And don't let people get away with telling you, can't nobody judge me but God. Oh, okay, then. Well, you go on over there and you let God judge you over there. But if you're going to be over here, this is what's got to happen. It is. It's a control tactic. It is. And for many of us, that's the problem. That's why we got to get off social media and start reading and learn about people. Because what we don't know is that we've been entertaining people like narcissist people. Type people. We've been entertaining witches. We've been entertaining warlocks, and we don't even realize it because we don't know how to deal with people. And they've come and they've learned how to pull on our heartstrings. And that's why you keep going back. That's why you keep picking up the phone. Every time they call, you pick up the phone. That's why you keep saying, I'm done with them. And they send you a text and you go back because they know how to manipulate you. They know how to pull on your heartstring. And they know that your words don't carry any weight. That's the problem. And I said it last week and I'll say it again. That's how come for some of us, our biggest problem is we are too easy. We need to learn how to offend some people and not care about it. I don't care about hurting your feelings. You didn't care about walking on me. You didn't care about trampling over me. You didn't care about lying on me. You didn't care about leaving me broken. I don't care. Absolutely, Michelle. My mama used to say, sorry, didn't do it. You did, so don't let it happen again. Absolutely. That's exactly it. Like, we've got to make people take ownership of what they did wrong. No, we don't get to come back. And that's the thing, especially with the generation now. You know, back in my day, when people wronged you, they had to come back and make it right before we could go forward. Now, people wrong you and they come back and everything's supposed to be normal. The devil is a liar. We're going to deal with this because you can't ever do this again. And if I let you back in, this is it. You don't get to just show back up in my life and I'm supposed to be all willy-nilly. I'm supposed to be all, all is well. This is my home girl. This is my home. No. And you haven't acknowledged what you did to me? See, that's going to cancel a lot of your conversations you're not going to have because if they can't come back to you right, they shouldn't come back to you at all. Right. We just start talking, everything good. No. We got to quit being so naive. That's why. No. You gotta connect with people who will tell you, girl, you being stupid. No, I'm not gonna sugar it up. I'm not gonna put no chaser on it. No, you are being a whole fool out here in these streets. No, no, I'm not making you feel good about being wrong. No, you were wrong. No. Because me caring for your feelings is going to bring cancer to your future. I know we're not ready for that we're not ready for that conversation now. But me caring for your feelings is going to bring cancer to your future. So no. You ain't got to ever talk to me again. But what you will say when you do hear my name is they told me the truth. That's it. We got too many of us now headed down the wrong road because nobody won't stop and say, hey, listen, that ain't it. Hey, bro, that ain't it. Girl, that ain't it. Nope, you need to go back to the drawing board and try again. That ain't it. That ain't it. I don't care if you think he ain't it. She ain't it. There's another one. That ain't it. No. We need the truth to be told to people. That's why we got so many jacked up people in there. Why? Because people keep going along with what everybody's saying. No, it ain't funny. You are foolish. I mean, and it could be small stuff. It's stuff like, why would you let them bring their bad kids to your house and be all on your furniture and you kiki and hide? The devil is a lie. You better get them roaches off my furniture. You see what I'm saying? You all in public and your kids is running circles. No. The devil is a liar. What about when we do tell them and they just do what they want to do anyway? That's a sign. That's a sign. So you got to be careful about stuff like that. That's a sign. You got to pay attention to it. See, we often say, we be saying, especially in the church, miracles, signs, and wonders. The main ingredient in that phrase is signs, because signs tell you what's coming. You got to pay attention to the signs. And then if they do it anyway, you take your hands off of it. And when they come back, because they're going to come to you and they're going to want pity, don't give them pity. Baby, I'm not finna join you in this pity party because you don't deserve one. You did it to yourself. I'm not going to allow you to feel bad for yourself. He didn't hurt you. You helped him. You an accomplice. Because here's the truth. Here's what we don't want to talk about. Since I'm here, I got the mic. I might as well tell you. Here's the problem is because some of us are so crazy and we're so out of our mind, we'll start a relationship wrong and expect it to go right. When you met the man, he was married. Uh-oh, I'm finna get in trouble. My sister's on here, Michelle. I love you, girl. When you started, it was wrong. And see, we gotta have a whole conversation about that anyway. Because here's the thing: you're either married or you're single. There's not a gray area. I talked about that yesterday. It's not a gray area. And so, if you're telling me, well, I'm gonna get a divorce, you're still married. If you're saying you're separated, you're still married. If you're telling me, well, we hadn't been together in ages, are you divorced? Oh, you still married. See, you see what I'm saying? No. We're gonna cut this at the beginning. We're gonna nip it at the book. No, we're not finna even go down here. I'm not finna invest any time in you. I'm not gonna waste time listening to your excuses. You can keep them. Because that's the darnest thing to me, that you start the relationship wrong, but your expectations is it's going right. How is it going to go right? Because you helped him break a covenant with somebody else. Let me get ready to get off here. My time is up. I mean, how? The whole thing is wrong. She was good and married before you start talking to her. You knew it. So why would God bless something like that? That's crazy to me. But that's what we do. We'll go and date somebody who's got 5 baby mamas and had took care of one of their children. And then we have the audacity to have a baby vow and get mad because they won't take care of our child. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. And let me tell you something. Since I'm here, and since I'm here, let me just be honest with you. I don't even buy the "I didn't know" phrase anymore. That's cheap. That's old. Why didn't you know? That means you didn't do enough research. That means you didn't do enough validating. That means you didn't go and really look and see what you were dealing with. You were too open. You had too much access. That's why. Yeah, well, I just didn't know. No, you didn't want to know. Because you can find everything else out. So you didn't want to know. Craziness. I thought he was the one. How was he the one? He ain't been the one in the last 5 relationships. And see, we've got to start looking at the facts and quit driving with the feelings. What does the facts say? That's the issue. We keep avoiding the facts, aka the signs. They're there. Oh, he's just the one for me. Why? Oh, because he want to know. No, let me tell you something. It doesn't make him a good man because he's calling you every minute. He's trying to figure out every move you make. That don't make him no good man. He's controlling. I probably wouldn't supposed to say that, but I don't care. What they gonna do to me? It's the truth. She ain't a good woman because she want to be with you all the time, everywhere, and she's scared to let you go by yourself, and she going through your phone. No, that's controlling. That's a narcissist. No. Tell you something, Lady Shades on here. I love you. We've been married 17 years. I don't go through a phone. I don't have to. I don't want to. If I'm ever in a place where I got to start going through a phone, we got a problem. Done deal. How do you marry people you don't trust? Okay, let me go. I'm done. It's 1:00. Let me go. I'm gonna have to say that for one Thursday night. How do you marry people you don't trust? How are you best friends with people that you don't trust? You mean tell me you got a whole best friend and you don't trust him to go? You don't trust her to go in the house with your husband? Why? That's a problem. That's a problem. That means one of them got to go. You're right. Miss Debbie said that's a hard lesson because many women feel they have no other choice. And that's crazy. And that's crazy. You got a whole husband, but you can't trust him around no other woman. What how many more signs do you need? How many more signs do you need? Yes, I know what they say in the church. No, the Lord doesn't want people to get divorced. Absolutely not. But sometimes we miss the mark. Okay, I got to go. I got to go. You hear me? Why would he want you to be married in a toxic situation when you can't even flourish, you can't upgrade, you have no identity. You're just a body. That's all you are, is a doggone body. You might as well be in a doggone funeral home because all you are is a body. You don't have a voice. You can't breathe when you want to. You can't do anything. Why would he put you in a situation like that? He wouldn't. Why? There's no lifestyle worth you being a part of that you can't be you in. You hear me? There's no lifestyle worth you being a part of when you can't be you in it. The season is over for suffering in silence because you don't want to offend people or you scared of what people are going to say. So let me tell you something. I'd rather be homeless and peaceful than be a homeowner and miserable. You hear me? I'd rather be homeless and peaceful than be a homeowner in prison. And some of us now we're in a home and we're in prison. And I'm talking directly to you, and I do not care. It's time to make some decisions. I'll add more to it before I take it back. It's time to make some decisions. It takes two people to tangle. It took two people to get married. It's going to take two people to fix a marriage. And if both of you are not willing to fix it, we got to make some decisions, because what we can't do is be married and still be single. I got to go, y'all. You hear me? We're not going to be married. Some of us now, we're married and still single. You can't even enjoy the fruit of being married. You're married and still single. Why? Because you're just a body. That's it. That's all you are. You're just a body. I want to say something else, but I can't because it's daytime. I might have to say this after dark, but you're just a body. You know where I'm going with that. You're only good for what you're good for. That's it. And how do we get trapped in there? And Minister Debbie, the reason why a lot of women, my sisters, I love y'all, you get trapped in there because you avoid the signs. You avoid the signs. That's it. That's why you avoid the signs. They're there, you avoid them. And I'm telling you, I don't care who I'm talking to. I'm telling you, it's time to make some decisions. Time is up. You've lost enough life. You've lost enough life. It's time to make some decisions. Make some decisions. I don't care if you got to walk away from everything and start from scratch. Having your peace is the most valuable thing you can have. Women also believe they can pray a man. You can't pray. Let me tell you something. First of all, me and Lady Shay was having this conversation yesterday. First of all, I'm gonna help my sisters out. You gotta quit praying for a man in church and start praying for a godly man. Okay, number one, let me go there. You got to start praying for a godly man. See, some of you get bamboozled because you go to church and they got a 3-piece suit on and you think, oh, they in church. They ain't got a hill of beans to do with anything. You hear me? It has nothing to do with anything. You need to start praying for their heart posture. Lord, show me their heart. Lord, show me their spirit. Why? Because you don't have the right to not submit to somebody you said I do to. I got to get out of here. I got to go. You don't have the right not to submit to who you said I do to. So you better know before you say I do, they're worth submitting to. Because the problem is you went down the fairy tale with them, you jumped into fantasy with them, and now you feel like you see who they really are, and now you saying I ain't got to submit to them. Yes, you do, because you said I do to. So now you got to shut your mouth and you got to pray to God and ask him to give you clarity on what to do next. I know y'all didn't want to hear it, but hey, I'm here now. I ain't got nothing else to lose. See, that's what we don't talk about. That's why. See, that's how come that now, see, I told somebody this the other day who called me. That's why we need to put premarital counseling back in its rightful place. See, we ought to be in counseling before he gets on one knee and asks, do you want to marry me? You need to know before what's in your hand. And see, the right counselor will expose some things that you might can't see. And that's why some of us, if you ever with somebody and they'll tell you, if you don't lay with me, you don't love me kind of crap, walk away. There's a red sign, walk away. You know why they want you to lay with them? Because laying with them or having sex with them will make you look over stuff you should be looking into. That's why. It's a red flag. Walk away. And you need to understand, I'm talking to my sisters and my brothers on this one. You got to understand I'm worth the wait. Yeah, I'm not no afterpay product. You don't get 4 installments on me. They don't work. Walk away. We got to quit playing with folk because they're hurting us, y'all. And we're missing who we need to be. We're missing who we should be connected to and who we're supposed to be because we got too much trauma. We're too broken. And so the person who we're supposed to be married to can't even get in no more because we're too broken. When the person who was supposed to find us finds us, we're in a million pieces. No. Get a hold to yourself. Absolutely. And here's the thing. I promise you I'm done this. But here's the thing. It's like in a home. There's more rooms than the bedroom in a home. There's more spaces that need to be fulfilled in your life than the bedroom. We're longing for heaven because we're unhappy on here, but we deserve happiness here too. You actually do. Let me tell you something. I believe, Michelle, there's a lot of people that's going to make it in heaven that's going to realize they could have had a better life here on earth. But because they had no boundaries, they had nobody to offend them, they were miserable. So they were ready to go. And some of us could really start enjoying life if we would start setting boundaries and saying no. We would have a way better living arrangement. We'll be in a whole different place now. All we have to do is to get boundaries and start saying no. Listen, I got to let y'all go. I've been here too long. I got to go. But I love you. Once again, I appreciate you for being on the porch. We'll be back here next week, same time. We'll hear from the Lord and ask him what he wants us to talk about. But y'all, listen to me. It's time to make some decisions. Some of us are like the man at the pool of Bethesda, and the Lord has asked us, do you want to be healed? And we keep regurgitating, I don't have anybody to put me in. No, quit waiting on people. Make the decisions. People will come, but you got to make the decision. This is about you. And you don't owe anybody anything when it comes to protecting you. This is about you. That's the season we're in now. Forget all the fanfare. You got to protect you. But I love you. May God keep you. May God bless you is my prayer. Until next time, we'll see you on the porch. Be blessed.